First off, I must say thank you very much to Jet Tools for donating this lathe to me. They sent it to me in December, and this thing is so nice. It is very sturdy and stable. It doesn't vibrate at all. It's got a very smooth speed adjustment, and the motor is so quiet you can't even hear it over the sound of the carving. This is one of the best lathes I've ever come across, and I'm so happy to use it. This bowl that I made in this video is one of the first big projects I've made on it. And it was kind of a tricky carving, but that was because of the different kinds of wood and the pattern I used. The lathe was excellent. And here is the finished product of 60 individual pieces of wood and 36 hours of labor. This project was a labor of love, and I say that because it was a pain in the ass from start to finish, but I knew that going into it, so come along with me. First, I start out on the miter saw to cut the pieces to the right length that I need, and that'll make it easier to do the next step, which is planing. I get the boards all nice and smooth and flat, and then I can cut them on the table saw. And I had to cut many pieces on the table saw. It was 60 individual pieces of wood, alternating between Yellowheart and Sapele. The next step is very important. I mark all of the pieces of Sapele so that when I make my alternating pattern, I don't get them mixed up. Next step, after a quick dry fitting to check all my jointery, is gluing. I turned these 60 individual pieces of wood into 5 panels. Then I take those panels over to the table saw so I can cut them into perfect squares. Next, I go over to the miter saw and cut the squares into perfect octagons so that I can stack them in the pattern that I had planned. Now I glue all the panels together to make the final block. I use my tactile measuring tool called a rotomatic to center the faceplate on the blank. The next part is the most fun, turning. So I get it mounted on the lathe, and I start it by roughing it out and getting it round. And then I use my finer tools to do the shaping. Then I move along to scooping the whole bowl out. And this part was mighty tricky, honestly, because the kinds of wood I used, I didn't realize had a pretty wide range in their hardness. And so the chisels I was using were trying to gouge and tear it out, and I had to use a small 1/4-inch wide tool called a parting tool so that I didn't accidentally break or mess anything up. But I was able to get it done. It just took a little more elbow grease, and I ended up with something that I am very proud of.